Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Radha Madhava Shri Radhe. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Gurudev. Jaya Om Vishnupad Paramhamsa Pravadakacharya Astota Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Primshikha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Radha Kund Shama Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Yamuna Mai Ki Jai. Tulasi Devi Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai. Burhat Murdanga Ki Jai. Gaura Pramanande Hari Hari Bo. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Jnana Timirantasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manopistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamakyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagarjatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadhutam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhambitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Rata Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Rati Vrindavaneshware Vishabhanu Sute Deve Pranamami Hare Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhye Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukham karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatamaham bande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Harihi Om Tatsat Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna everyone. First of all, welcome everyone to today's ecstatic discussion of Srimad Bhagavatam. We are going to read 2 shlokas today. So I would read 3.26-25, and then we can together read 26. So we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 26, entitled Fundamental Principles of Material Nature. Text 25. Sahasra-śirasam sākṣād yam. There's no need to respond it. Thank you. And from next shloka. Yamnantam pracakṣate saṅkarṣaṇa-ākhyam puruṣam bhūtendriya-manomayam. Word for word. Sahasra-śirasam, with 1,000 heads. Sākṣāt, directly. Yam, whom. Anantam, ananta. Pracakṣate, they call. Saṅkarṣaṇa-ākhyam, saṅkarṣam, by name. Puruṣam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhūta, the gross elements. Indriya, the senses. Manaḥ-mayam, consisting of the mind. Translation. The threefold ahaṅkāra, the source of the gross elements, the senses and the mind, is identical with them because it is their cause. It is known by the name of saṅkarṣaṇa, who is directly Lord Ananta with 1,000 heads. Now please read after me for shloka number 26. Kartve tvam karanam tvam cha karya tvam cheti lakshanam shantaghora vimuta tvam iti va syadahaṅ krite kartritvam karanatvam ca karyatvam chiti lakshanam shantaghora vimutatvam iti va syadahaṅ krite kartritvam karanatvam ca karyatvam chiti lakshanam shantaghora vimutatvam iti va syadahaṅ krite kartritvam karanatvam ca karyatvam chiti lakshanam shantaghora vimutatvam iti va syadahaṅ krite. Okay, Vaishnavis. Kartritvam karanatvam ca karyatvam chiti lakshanam shantaghora vimutatvam iti va syadahaṅ krite. Kartritvam karanatvam ca karyatvam chiti lakshanam shantaghora vimutatvam iti va syadahaṅ krite. Word for word. Kartritvam, being the doer. Karanatvam, being the instrument. Cha, and. Karyatvam, being the effect. Cha, also. Iti, thus. Lakshanam, characteristic. Shanta, searing. Kora, active. Vimutatvam, being dull. Iti, thus. Va, or. Syat, maybe. Ahaṅkāra, of the false ego. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. This false ego is characterized as a doer, as an instrument, and as an effect. It is further characterized as serene, active, or dull according to how it is influenced by the modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Purport. Ahaṅkāra, or false ego, is transformed into the demigods, the controlling directors of material affairs. As an instrument, the false ego is represented as different senses and sense organs, and as a result of the combination of the demigods and the senses, material objects are produced. In the material world, we are producing so many things, and this is called advancement of civilization. But factually, the advancement of civilization is a manifestation of the false ego. By false ego, all material things are produced as objects of enjoyment. One has to cease increasing artificial necessities in the form of material objects. One great Acharya, Narottam Das Thakur, has lamented that when one deviates from pure consciousness of Vasudeva or Krishna consciousness, he becomes entangled in material activities. The exact words he uses are satsanga tari kainu asate vilasa te karane lagilaje karma bandha famsa. I have given up the pure status of consciousness because I wanted to enjoy in the temporary material manifestation. Therefore, I have been entangled in the network of actions and reactions. Let us repeat the translation together. This false ego is characterized as a doer, as an instrument, and as an effect. It is further characterized as serene, active, or dull, according to how it is influenced by the modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Hare Krishna. So today we are talking about the creation of this phenomenal world. And these two verses tell us how this whole world become manifest. And the truth is, the whole world, all the material objects inside, is only a manifestation of false ego. And since it tells us how the whole world is manifested, the phenomenal world, how it is manifested, and then it tells us how we can become disentangled from this material world. And today we are also going to talk about the emotional healing effects of these Bhagavatam shlokas. It is not we want to reduce Srimad Bhagavatam down to psychology, but we can see how it solves all problems in our life. Because by preaching, I noticed what is the difficulties for the devotees to maintain themselves in Krishna consciousness. It is not that, chanting 16 rounds. Yes, some people feel difficult, but they won't leave Krishna consciousness. They won't leave ISKCON because they feel chanting is difficult. Why they leave? They even leave Krishna consciousness and they even leave ISKCON. They feel great difficulties in relationship with the other devotees. And how it comes? Because their mind is disturbed. According to the 11th canto, the song of Avanti Brahmana, he said all the pain is caused by the mind. And then we can see, according to the modern psychology, the therapist, they would solve the problem only on the level of mind. They would say, okay, you take some rest. You set up healthy boundaries, things like that. They are addressing your pains, your trauma, or maybe some wound, you feel hurt. But that doesn't solve the root problem. And we feel still we're broken. We try to stick together all the broken pieces of so-called ourselves. But then after some time, next time something happened, someone said something, 3 days we cannot sleep. Or maybe one day we cannot eat properly. What happened? How to solve the problem in a fundamental way? The way is to transcend the problem. You transcend the problem and the problem doesn't exist anymore. That is a solution given by Srimad Bhagavatam. That is a solution given by Srila Prabhupada. So here in text 25, it says the three ahaṅkāra. The ahaṅkāra is the source of the gross elements. And the ahaṅkāra is the source of the senses and the mind. And ahaṅkāra is identical with all of them because it is their cause. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he gives one example. He said, we may say the stadium shouted, but actually it's not the stadium shouted. We refer to the people in the stadium shouted. But that is why here we can say the threefold ahaṅkāra means the ahaṅkāra in the mode of goodness, the ahaṅkāra in the mode of passion, and the ahaṅkāra in the mode of ignorance. They can be identified with the products it comes from, these threefold ahaṅkāras. And so when we are dealing with the senses, when we are dealing with the gross elements, when we are dealing with the all kinds of material objects, they are the objects of our senses. Actually, we're dealing with the ahaṅkāra. And that explains sometimes we feel hurt. And what is the part hurt? It's the ahaṅkāra part. And the next shloka 26, it tells us very clearly which part is the problem. Because the ahaṅkāra make us to identify ourselves with the doer, kartritvam. And the ahaṅkāra make us to identify ourselves with the instrument, karanatvam. And the ahaṅkāra makes us to identify ourselves with the effect, karyatvam. And we can think about one example. For example, I really want to organize one event. So I want to get this job from the temple authority. And then I am thinking, I am the doer, so I feel happy. But is that really I please the Guru and Krishna, I feel happy? Or because I am the doer, so I am happy? And if I think by doing this only to please Guru and Krishna, and if someone take away this position, I won't be so much affected. But if I think I am the doer of this like organizing an event, for example, a festival, then if this taken away by the authority or some other devotee said, no, I am the person who can do it, then I will feel deeply hurt. I feel even shame. Oh, I don't have the qualification to do it. And maybe I feel neglected. I feel unseen by the devotees community. I feel why they neglect me, why I am isolated. And then I feel so many things. I feel fear, I feel anxiety. And in my mind, I have so much struggles. I can play the whole thing again and again. And I'm not living in this world even. I'm living only in the world of my emotions. Because I identify myself as a doer, then I have to suffer. I have to exhaust my energies, and that energies can be applied actually to the service of Guru and Krishna, to Guru and Gauranga. And then next level, if I identify myself with the instrument, I would be thinking, oh, see, this is my mind. Only I have this brilliant idea. I would organize a prasadam like a buffet style, so it's easy for the devotees to make line and save time. We can serve easily, and also we avoid waste, so many things. And then I think, oh, I am the intellect. Therefore, I am so intelligent, and I can organize the whole thing nicely. But actually, our mind, our intellect, everything we have, we can engage in the service belongs to Krishna. But if I identify myself with the instrument part, I feel elated, I feel very much happy. And because I am proud of my ahaṅkāra, I think this is mine. I think of these things and I am engaging these things, everything is mine. I'm not thinking, oh, I have a mind, I have intelligence, I have these talents, I have these resources. I claim all these instruments as mine. And when it failed, what happened? We feel hurt. We feel devastated. We feel collapsed. Oh, I feel frustrated. And this doesn't work. And some other devotees criticize me. How can they criticize me? I cannot tolerate. And we can see someone is very, very sensitive to other people's emotional responses. And we also have this control. We have this purusha bhav. That's why when things going on not according to our expectations, then we feel so much disturbed. But in the root cause, it is simply the problem of ahaṅkāra. We identify ourselves as the instrument. And the effects can be two. One, the event is very successful. And the other aspect is the event is not successful. It's a failure. If I establish my value on these external things, I establish the value on the effects of my ahaṅkāra, then I identify with it, then I have to suffer. When it's successful, I claim I am the doer, I am the instrument, and I am the effect. I am successful. Because the event is successful, that's why I am successful. And if the event is not successful, what I'm thinking, oh, I am finished. I have no hope. I have no value. I don't even dare to go to the temple. I feel I completely lost my faith. How can I go to the senior devotees? How can I face all the devotees? How can I continue my devotional service? I start to withdraw myself from devotional service. And inside my heart, I even feel I cannot approach Krishna anymore. So when something happened, we have to think twice. It's not that we are only thinking, oh, this thing makes me feel anxiety, this thing makes me feel unhappy, this makes me feel like distress. We have to think why I am facing these emotions. And what is the thing behind the emotions? Because modern psychology, they do therapies session by session. They help you to analyze yourself. They said, okay, we help you to find yourself. We establish yourself. And we make your personality become complete. And we retell the story. The story is not that you are a completely failure. The story is something else. But from Bhagavatam's point of view, by Srila Prabhupada's instructions, we understand now this bhakti process, this Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy, this Siddhanta, make us see what is happening even before the whole story began. What is happening when the whole story began? That time, we are a spirit soul. And we are the eternal servant of Lord Krishna. And it is mentioned that saṅkarṣaṇa is the presiding deity of this ahaṅkāra. Of course, sometimes in other places of Srimad Bhagavatam, we find out different demigods are assigned to the different presiding deities of the manas, or buddhi, or ahaṅkāra, things like that. But here we can see the original, the most fundamental presiding deity of ahaṅkāra is saṅkarṣaṇa. And who is saṅkarṣaṇa? Saṅkarṣaṇa is Balaram. He's the expansion of Lord Krishna. And what is this saṅkarṣaṇa? According to Sanskrit meaning, saṅkarṣaṇa means kind of force. It's pulling, it's dragging your back. And saṅ and karṣaṇa, saṅ means eye. And karṣaṇa means the knees. How it exists means saṅkarṣaṇa means I knees. That means from the point of view of ontology, who am I? Why I exist? This is also Sanatana Goswami's question to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In Madhya Lila, Sanatana Shiksha Part 20:102, Sanatana is asking Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Ke ami? Who am I? Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu directly telling him, you are not this body, you are the soul. And what is the spiritual instruction we first confront when we contacted Krishna consciousness? What is the most frequently repeated instruction we could think about according to Srila Prabhupada? You are not this body. You're not the body. And the body has gross body and subtle body. So you are not this body. If I am not this gross body, that means, oh, I'm not my age. I'm not my disease. I'm not my appearance. And if we think that you are not the subtle body, then I am not my emotions. I'm not my mind. I'm not those subtle, complicated mental activities I used to identify with. then who am I? Krishna, that means we are the eternal servant of Krishna. Divya Svarupa Hwai Krishna Nitya Das. We are the eternal servant of Lord Shri Krishna. And in the original spiritual world, this I-ness, this saṅkarṣaṇa, this real ego identification is, I am the servant of Lord Krishna. Divya Svarupa Hwai Krishna Nitya Das. But then when this identification comes into the material world, by the contamination of the three modes of material nature, it is distorted. And this I-ness become, oh, I am this body, I am the mind. And we start to identify with the different aspects of these internal faculties. What are the aspects of the internal faculties? It corresponds with the Lord's Chaturviha expansions. There are aspects of Chitta. Chitta corresponds with Vasudeva platform. Lord Vasudeva, that is Chitta, that is pure consciousness, that is also called Krishna consciousness. But now that one is contaminated. And then we have this buddhi part, And then we have this manas part, and we have this ahaṅkāra part. Ahaṅkāra is corresponding with Lord Saṅkarṣaṇa, and buddhi is corresponding with Lord Pradyumna, and Aniruddha is corresponding with Lord, buddhi is Pradyumna, and Aniruddha is corresponding with manas. Yes. And how to solve the problem from the root level? We have to worship the four lords. Although in some other places, later we could find out that the moon god, the demigod in charge of the moon, he's also the presiding deity of the mind. And also we could find out that Lord Brahma, he represents the intellect. So we should worship Pradyumna through the worship of Lord Brahma. But that is a very complicated process. What is the most simple process? What is the most simple process for us to transcend this broken ahaṅkāra? Okay, what? To darken the margin. Yes, that is very nice. Because, and how this become, like we have to process it in a logical way. How we can process it? Yes, we have to clean our heart. We have to clean our heart by the chanting Hare Krishna process. Why? Because if the most disturbing element is the mind. We already mentioned. Avanti Brahmana said, all the pains not coming from the grahas, the planets, even karma, all those things, relationship with other people, that is not the root cause of my pain. The root cause of my pain is the mind. And how to solve the mind problem? We cannot worship the moon god. It's very complicated. And in some places, for the yogis, they are, after the mystic power, they are worshipping the super soul, represented by Aniruddha. But that is also very complicated. And why not turn to the most perfect moon? And who is the most perfect moon? Gaurachandra, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave us this process of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Because Srila Prabhupada mentioned so many times, this is not ordinary sound vibration. It directly comes from the spiritual world. For example, when you are feeling very sad, depressed, if I give you some food, I give you some nice clothes, I give you a house, maybe make you feel a little bit happy. It doesn't solve the root problem. To solve the root problem, we have to see the whole cause is we forgot about our identity. And we forgot our identity, we forgot we are servant of Krishna. And now we have to revive that remembrance. And we have to feed the soul. We have to give medicine to the soul. If we simply give some psychological therapies, That is only feeding our mind. But we need to make the soul touch some substantial spiritual thing. And what is that substantial spiritual thing? The holy name carries the presence of Lord Sri Krishna himself. That's why when we chant, it gives us a complete different experience. How we are experiencing this phenomenal world, we are experiencing it with our ahaṅkāra. And this ahaṅkāra has three parts. And it's influenced by the mode of goodness. That is vaikārika ahaṅkāra. And it's influenced by the mode of passion. That is called taijasa ahaṅkāra. And it is influenced by the mode of ignorance. That is called tamasa ahaṅkāra. And after that, the whole material world, all kinds of different objects manifest. But in order for the soul to recover, we need some substantial things. That's why it is important to chant our daily 16 rounds. And that is why important to read Srimad Bhagavatam every day. Because in 1.2.17, Shunvatam Swakata Krishna, what does it mean? It means by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna would enter into your hearts. And when Krishna enters into your hearts, and he's working the whole thing, he would remove all the anarthas from our hearts. And he would re-establish our real identity. That's why sometimes as devotees, if you are devotees for 10 years, 20 years, even you have the responsibility to take care of other devotees, sometimes you feel you are going to explode. So many pouring things, and they tell you this thing, that thing, this happened, that happened. And what they're telling is like a flood of their emotions. But if you are not connected with Krishna, then sooner or later you will be drowned by the other people's inundation, the flood of their emotions. And then you feel compassion fatigue. You feel like, I don't want to do anything. Sometimes, after some time in devotional service practice, we feel like, I just can't continue. I lost all my taste. What happened? Because sometimes we are thinking we are the instrument. This is a very subtle point. We are thinking, we are the instrument, therefore I think I should solve his problem. Oh, I should be responsible for her. And when it's done, I feel, oh, I saved her, I helped this person. And actually we put the role of God on ourselves, but we are not that much capable. That's why when we forgot Krishna, when we forgot that subtle connection, because saṅkarṣaṇa, he can unbind us, the soul, from the matter. And ahaṅkāra is the force that make a tight knot between the matter and spirit. So when we forgot, even we are doing so-called spiritual activities like caring for the devotees, we feel mentally burned. We are burned out. We feel compassion fatigue. We want to get rid of everything. Or maybe sometimes we just feel like either I should be lost or other people, they should get lost. But the thing is not so complicated. It's only need we don't identify ourselves with the instrument. Karanatvam. We are not karanatvam. But sometimes we may say, oh, we always hear the spiritual classes mentioning you should become instrument. You should become Guru's instrument. You should become Krishna's instrument. Yes, that's right. But the thing is, we should become whose instrument? We are not the possessor of the instrument. We should not become the proprietor of the instrument. So this is not my intelligence, not my idea. This is Krishna's idea. This is my Guru Maharaj's idea. That's why Srila Prabhupada, how much is his achievement? And we can see this year is also the 60 years of anniversary of ISKCON's establishment. And people all over the world start to celebrate. They celebrate, they hold all kinds of festivals, there's a lot of admiration, and there's a lot of, we praise Srila Prabhupada. But we push aside of all this, we think what Srila Prabhupada really wants to give us, in which way we can substantially celebrate the 60 years of the establishment of ISKCON. That is, we think about what Srila Prabhupada came for, what his purpose. He came to spread Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission, to re-establish our real identity. And there are 7 purposes of ISKCON. In the first purposes, it is very clearly mentioned, Srila Prabhupada wants to give us a spiritual knowledge, because we have to check the imbalanced value of this material world. In this material world, everyone's struggling, suffering because of identification. At the beginning of our discussion, we already talked about this part, because we're thinking we are the doer, kartritvam. We're thinking we are the instrument, karanatvam. And we are thinking we are the result. We're claiming everything, karyatvam. That's why we suffer. That's why we have many internal exhaustions. This is a very modern word, internal exhaustions. We are wasting ourselves' energies. But how to avoid this? And how to solve all the problems and really become a happy devotee, and we can help others. That is to accept the role of the soul's identity. And this refers to we have to recover, revive our original relationship with Lord Krishna. I want to give everyone one example. For example, I have one mobile. And I want to make this mobile nice. How can I make it nice? I can change a cover, a golden cover with the flowers. And I can put it some paraphernalia like hanging system. I can even change the screen and like unbreakable screen, like a steel type, or I polish it. I even make it scented. I spray some perfume. But what happened with this phone, with this mobile? Without charging, it is dead. Without charging, it is useless. I cannot even use it like a mirror. It's completely useless. And how I make it useful? I have to charge it. This is like us. And in the material level, it's like we are polishing our phones. We put this makeup, we do this, we do that, and we dress ourselves nicely. But we didn't charge. We didn't charge the phone. The phone has to be charged by spiritual activities. That is our aspect of daily sadhana. Srila Rupa Goswami mentioned in his Sri Upadeshamrita in the 3rd shloka, he said, after he mentioned utsaha, nischaya, dharya, after he mentioned you have to have enthusiasm, you have to have patience, and you have to have and faith. And then he said, tat karma pravartanat. Tat, this and that, karma, activities. Tat karma pravartana means you have to do all kinds of activities, a variety of activities. And it's very, very fortunate for us that we have Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of ISKCON. And he gave us from morning to evening. And besides that, we have more activities. We have, see, in the Mangala Arti, and one devotee is announcing today is how many days of Sharira Bihar festival. Today is the 20 days of Puruṣaṁ month. And we have this nice activity. You can offer lotus flowers to Shushu Radha Madhava, 5 o'clock in the temple hall. There's so many activities. Why we're doing all these activities? All these activities help us to revive our relationships, help us to connect that spiritual substance, help us to recognize, oh, I belong to Krishna. Sometimes devotees feel I have no value. I am completely depressed. All the other devotees criticize me. I am hopeless. And all of them, they reject me. We do feel like that, right? But from another perspective, we ever think about Krishna did this to you on purpose? We never think about that, rarely. Krishna, why did this to me on purpose? Why Krishna put me in a situation that is not so comfortable? Why Krishna put me among the people whom I don't like and maybe they don't like me? Krishna did it on purpose because Krishna wants us to grow. If we are in a very comfortable environment, we don't want to grow. And that is the difference between psychology and Bhagavatam Siddhanta. Psychology would make you feel very comfortable. You have to pay $100, $200 to the doctor. And he has to tell lies. Actually, it's okay. Even it's not okay, she would say, it's okay, don't worry. But there are things to be worried about. But then the Bhagavad Siddhanta tell us in a different way. It's not okay. But we have to transcend. We have to transcend this platform. Yeah, you are broken. But the broken part is only your ahaṅkāra part. It's only your identification with the doer. It's only your identification with the instrument. It's only your identification with the effects, the results. Now you no need to claim the three. You identify yourself as eternal servant of Lord Krishna. And what is your value? Krishna loves each one of us, not because we are very successful. We are a big preacher, we can give nice class, and we can collect a lot of money, I even build a temple. Then Krishna loves me? No. We have to think deeply about that. Krishna loves me because I am an infinitesimal spiritual part of himself. I have this eternal bond with him. So he loves me. That is his constitutional function. And I am being loved by Krishna. It's also my constitutional position. That is my constitutional function, to be loved by Krishna. The whole world can reject me, but Krishna would still accept me. That is also the significance of this Puruṣaṁ month. Puruṣaṁ month as a personality was rejected by the whole world. Not one month likes this Puruṣaṁ month, but just in this most miserable condition, Lord Krishna accepted Puruṣaṁ month and make Puruṣaṁ month the highest position. Krishna said, I give my own name to you. From now on, your name would be Puruṣaṁ. And also, I'm not only giving the name, something else. My qualities, all my qualities, being the supreme among everything. And I give it to you. And this is our hope. Being loved, being supported, being taken care of by Lord Krishna. It's not because I am doer of some project. It's not because I can nicely use some facilities, I have a nice intelligence, I have a good mind, I have organizational abilities. No. And it's also not because I can do things successfully. I just remain as an infinitesimal, eternal servant of Lord Krishna. Then I deserve to be loved. So in any condition, I can come to the front of Lord Krishna, and I know he never rejects me. And it takes us some effort to realize this and to execute this. And from now, when I identify myself with this aspect, I'm not worried. People can criticize me. Okay, you criticize me. If it's good, I can improve, I would learn. If it's not true, okay, I continue. I can still take prasadam. I can still sleep nicely. I chant my rounds. I am happy. I'm a happy devotee. I'm Krishna's happy servant. I'm connected with Krishna. That is our value. Otherwise, we misidentify our value with other people's opinion. How other people would see me. How about my face? What about I messed up this whole thing? I am so nervous. So our whole consciousness the attention point is not on the service itself. It's not on our relationship with Krishna. It's not on the point of how to please Guru, Gauranga, and Krishna. Our whole point is how I play the role nicely. It's like a show. No, it's not like a show. But very sadly, sometimes we are doing our devotional service like a drama, like a play. I have to play nicely. That's why we're so much worried. Oh, what about I forgot something when I give lecture? I'm so much worried, and then all my attention's on my worries. And I am disconnected with the shloka, with the mantra, with Krishna, with the content itself. I'm only thinking about how to play nicely. It's like performance. So today our discussion makes us to really perform devotional service, not performing a show by doing some artificial devotional service. Thank you for your patience. Now I would like to invite questions. Yes, comments, also corrections.
Thank you, Mataji, for wonderful analysis. So, Mataji, in the class you mentioned that actually these three things, kartritvam, these things. So the whole problem is this: Jiva wants to take credit, and that is the cause of false. That is the result of false ego actually. But for conditioned souls, it's very natural that they want to get the credit. But then for liberated soul like Prabhupada, he never took the credit, even though he did so much. But then he never took the credit. He gave the credit to the acharyas, like that. So Prabhupada himself, I think somewhere in the purport he mentions there are two parts, two practices. One is Bhagavad Dharma and another is Varnashram Dharma. Actually Bhagavad Dharma, like Sravana Kirtanam, this Navadha Bhakti, this is independent, but then because practitioner is not fit, maybe you can say, so this Varnashram setup is an assistant for the practitioner to practice this Bhagavad Dharma. So what happens? This Varnashram organizes things very nicely so that this practice of Bhagavad Dharma can take properly. Like you said, chanting Cheto Darpanam Marjanam, by chanting we will get purified. So what is your understanding? Because you have read writings of Acharyas also. So what is the view of Varnashram Dharma, application of Varnashram Dharma in our present context?
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. From your narration, I could see that you are thinking deeply about this subject. And the question is what the previous acharyas, especially like Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's view about Varnashram Dharma. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has a very clear vision about Varnashram Dharma. About this, you can see in the comment of his, he did a comment about verse number 2 and number 3 of Srila Rupa Goswami's Sri Upadeshamrita. And his book is called Sri Bhakti Aloka. And in that part, when he's commenting Sattva-vritti, and also especially what is the different functions of different varnas and ashrams, he said, he quoted from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He quoted that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is addressing Sri Ramananda Roy, because that time Sri Ramananda Roy said the perfection is Varnashram Dharma, and then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no, this is external, you have to say something more. And at that part, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur comments, he said, actually the real purpose of Varnashram Dharma is to purify yourself, and then you are eligible for devotional service. That is the whole vision of the Acharya. Varnashram Dharma, the only purpose is to purify ourselves enough, and then we become eligible for devotional service. And in your comments, I think the first part of the comments, you also mentioned we are conditioned souls. Of course, we identify ourselves with these three things, the doer, the instrument, and the effect. We're not like Srila Prabhupada. He's not identifying. Yeah, Srila Prabhupada, he's always thinking everything is done by my Guru Maharaj's mercy. But how can we improve? The unasked question, how can we improve? This relates to we have to get some sadhu sangha. And in Sri Sampradaya, Sri Ramanujacharya's, his foremost fundamental instruction is, if you cannot purify yourself by any endeavor whatsoever, then you just sit with the Vaishnavas, then you achieve all auspiciousness. So even we cannot do it by ourselves, we just sit with the other Vaishnavas. We have so many Vaishnavas, they are much better than ourselves. Like in the 11th canto, we find out there are different things can become our gurus. There's one person, he's telling the story, he has 24 gurus. Even the bird, like eagle, even all kinds of things become his gurus. We can always find something to learn from others. And not even mention that we have this Vaishnava Sangha, Vaishnava community. By this association, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he mentioned that we can remove and destroy all our prejudices. And the prejudices divided into two categories. Our prejudices in ancient times and our prejudices from the modern time. Modern time, we understand when we grow up, our background, our education, that give us some imprints, and that makes us think in a certain way. And what about the ancient prejudices? That is life after life, from time immemorial. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, when he's talking about this, he used very interesting words to describe this. He said, that is your nature. That is your material svabhava. And what is that? That is from the time immemorial, your primordial desire, and which is still active even now, becomes your nature. That is your ancient prejudices. And there's only one way to get rid of those things, and we must destroy. That is by sadhu sangha. Hare Krishna. And especially Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he mentions, we have to follow the previous acharyas. And the previous acharyas can be categorized into two parts. And these two parts are divided by the appearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There are previous acharyas before the appearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the great previous acharyas after the appearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And for us, Bhaktivinoda Thakur especially mentioned, we have to follow this later part. And that is more relevant for us because he especially mentioned Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his disciples, his followers. If we follow their behavior, their conduct, it's more easy for us to become purified. And that's why we follow Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instructions. And especially the foremost instruction is to chant Hare Krishna. And I just remember something very interesting I want to share with all of you. Because Srila Pataka Maharaj, every half month he would issue one letter, like a message. And every time at the last part of the message is inspiring story. And the recent inspiring story from his half-month message is this. He said, there's one person who is suffering from insomnia, cannot sleep, and depression for more than a decade, for more than 10 years. And what he did, he adopted this chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and this more than decade's problem completely disappeared. So Maharaj comments that chanting Hare Krishna is the solution for all our problems. And if you want to know why, that is our whole discussion for today's class. Haribo, Hare Krishna. So I don't want to delay you for your breakfast. Let us chant Hare Krishna by following Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instructions to wind up our today's secret and ecstatic discussion of Srimad Bhagavatam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Gaura Pramanande